Welcome to Reseller Recap, where we talk all things reselling across multiple platforms. Join us for real-life discussions on how we crush the elusive work-life balance. Grab a coffee and join us now.
Welcome, you guys, to our third episode of Reseller Recap with Jem. I'm Jen, and today we're going to talk about all the ways that you can source when you're reselling. So we're going to primarily focus on OA, RA, since that's what we do best. And then we'll have other guests come on at some point to talk about wholesale, private label, and then brand deals. So who wants to start first?
I'll take retail arbitrage because that's
okay. Awesome.
Let me jump in and just take that from Morgan. So retail arbitrage, you can find me taking the easy route all the time. And some people say RA, and we talked about this last week. These acronyms we come up with. Yeah. RA, retail arbitrage, that is basically finding products in a store and reselling it for a profit. The store can be Walmart. Walmart is my favorite place to go. But now, okay, I want to say this in a nice way. Now local people are figuring it out and also going. So I'm like, don't steal my Walmart. Target, local stores, Menards. I pretty much stay away from liquidation stores. Mm-hmm. That would be like Ross, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, the stores that, they pull their product out in pallets. I like going to places like Walmart because you can prove it's authentic, it's new, you get a receipt. And I think that's the easiest, most straightforward definition of RA. Did I miss anything?
No, because it's going in a store and sourcing from a place where your receipt says like you bought Hershey Kisses and they cost this price. So I think that's why Emily's saying don't go to like a TJ Maxx, Marshalls, because it's going to have a weird number and then a price, and that doesn't match up. Walmart and Amazon are going to be like, what did you buy? It doesn't tell us. So right. Yeah, but yeah, that's the easiest definition.
And this world has gotten progressively easier because now when I buy something at Walmart, it links in my Walmart account and all my receipts are there. You can place an order online and have it delivered to your house. Go pick it up. So at one point that wasn't available and you really had to be on top of paper receipts. But now, even if you shop at Target, same thing. They're saving your receipts for you in the app. And so that just makes your life much easier if you do have a problem and need to pull your receipts.
Yeah. Walgreens does too. That's been a huge help. I don't know why lately I've been doing a lot of Walgreens.
I was going to say, what Walgreens?
Yeah, no, because they do so many sales. And that's kind of, I think, one of the fun things about RA too, is that, that's where you can find clearance. That's where you can find regular price stuff, but you can use like different rebates or different coupon codes and apply them and pick up in store, or OA, which we'll talk about, where you like order it and it just ships to you. So yeah, Walgreens has been, I don't know, kind of my little, don't tell anybody, you guys.
Yeah, like Walgreens is really, for me, it's really hit or miss. Like, yeah, like you said, you have to shop the sales. I love their clearance because ever since, I think it's been a couple months now, they like released an article saying like they were going to bring their prices back down to be like more competitive. And ever since they've done that, their clearance is like real clearance, like $2, $3 sort of deal. So that's really nice. But the one thing I do hate about Walgreens is the OA shoppers, where which is online arbitrage. They will go hard on Walgreens and tank the price out on like beauty and health and personal care. Although those are now restricted on Amazon. So I don't know if that's like really still an issue, but it was at one point.
Do you want to talk about OA quickly?
I was about to say what brings me.
Yeah, let's that was a good segue there. Then we can go back around to talk about all our stores and what we like.
Yeah. So online arbitrage, essentially you're just going online and you're buying your products at a profit. I personally don't do a lot of online arbitrage. There's people who literally will like search all kind of sites, World Market and I can't even remember all the ones that I used to like kind of go on, but like these weird before they closed Rite Aid was one. Yeah. Like these sites that you wouldn't really think of to go to a store. But the thing with OA is some sites have like limits or they don't like resellers. And if they find out you're reselling, they will not only cancel your order, but also cancel your account. So you have to be a little bit strategic when you do OA in your order quantities and who you're ordering from. You also need to really pay attention in verifying the source, because there's a lot of fake websites out there as well. So like you might think you're on worldmarket.com, but you're really on worldmarket.io, which looks the same exact way as .com, and you've just placed thousands of dollars and you never get your merchandise.
Yeah.
So there's the OA route is nice, but it has some difficulties. And also the profit margin and ROI is usually a lot less. So for me, the way that I like to OA is if I go to, for example, a Walmart store, and I clear out all the Walmarts, in a certain radius. Okay, now they have this at walmart.com. Okay, now I'm ordering from walmart.com to get all, keep replenishing my order. I like to do it that way because at least I know that the item that I'm trying to get it sells. Like, I know it sells because I did it RA. So now I'm just literally replenishing it instead of like, okay, I'm going to buy, 12 of these and hope that this does well. And then by the time you get it, somebody has hopped on with 500, like a wholesaler at half the price. So that's where I would definitely get frustrated with OA, because that happens a lot where wholesalers will hop on and the price just woof, and then you're like, dang it, now it's not even good. So
or the Black Friday deals, like, how a lot of people are like, I'm doing OA, aren't you guys getting all the Black Friday deals? And I'm like, there's no quicker product that will tank than a product that is a Black Friday OA deal. Like, so many like good Lego sets, but if you want to buy it and hang on to it for a year, like, it'll come back, but do you want your money all tied up for a year?
Seriously. My first year, my first Q4, I went to Ulta. So for like Black Friday, you know how they do like Black Friday, like the whole month of November?
Yes.
They had like this week where it was like every day there was like a new sale that they were doing. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Nobody's going to know about this. And I'm like, 10 of these, 15 of these, 20 of these.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I had coupons, I had Rakuten, and then like the deals. So I spent but I still spent about $800. And I got all the product and I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. It was good when I made my shipment, sent it in. I'm like, yes, this is so great. Literally like 3 days later, there's people with like 200, 500 at the same price Ulta was selling it at.
Ooh.
No.
I was like, no. So then I had to like wait. And so I'm holding. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, these storage fees. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. So then I finally it came back up a little bit after like 5 months, and I sold it at break even. So I'm like, never again.
My worst was I ordered from Walgreens, like a discontinued product. Like I knew it was getting discontinued. And so I ordered and it was like face soap or something like that, like liquid. And they just threw them all in a box and they exploded everywhere in there because of the like cabin pressure, like when they shifted air. And so I literally opened it up and it's just like goo. It's leaking out the bottom. And I'm like, no, this is like so much money I could have made if you just put this in like a poly bag with like a sticker. Come on now.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good like negative to OA too. Is like getting the shit.
It'll come however they decide to throw it in a box.
Sure, it's all in one piece.
One time I placed an order at Menards, a local like Midwest chain, and sorry, I have the case of the yawns now. And people are gonna be like, well, she's so bored. I'm not bored.
Hello, get your coffee if you didn't know already. Resellers have a minimum of 2 to 3
I'm not bored. Anyways, I placed an order for fruit snacks at Menards to have shipped to my house, a large order. And Menards is known for They will take their product and tape the product together, like no box. That's something they've done quite a bit. Like I ordered ball canning lids in bulk from them once. They didn't box it. They just taped the outside boxes together. Okay, so one box came. They couldn't fit all of the boxes in a big shipping box. So they rolled all the individual boxes of fruit snacks. They rolled the cardboard down. Yes.
Oh,
I was like,
unbelievable.
They rolled cardboard boxes down to fit.
Yikes.
And like fruit snack boxes are like kind of thick. Like that's a
lot of work.
Like they have no home training over there.
Wow.
So you had to return it?
Yeah. I mean, I think we just ate them. You know, it was probably like 5 or 6 boxes. And I was like, okay, well.
Yeah.
Oh
crazy.
My gosh.
Crazy way things happen.
I had Black Friday Lego sets, speaking of, come, and then they wrapped each box like in a separate poly bag. This was Walmart. And then it was like for delivery, but they were doing it from in store to me instead of like the warehouse. Well, whoever delivered them must smoke in their car because they all reeked of cigarettes. They had put stuff on top of the boxes, so they were all crushed. So here I am going back to the store because there was no box to ship them back. I had to take all of them back, and they were like, "What happened?" I'm like, "This is how they came to me." I took pictures like of them on my porch so they could see the chaos of what happened.
Yeah, that's
I was like, this is disgusting. Who would want to give their kids like this package that is damaged and stinks? Like, come on.
Emily, remember when you got that? You ordered those clothes and they just put them on your porch, like the literal clothes, no bag.
They hung them up with the hangers outside my house. Like, what?
I'm just gonna put this on your door handle, like, you know,
the normal. Craziest thing. So you can hear. I think when someone hears retail arbitrage, they're immediately like, "Why wouldn't you buy that online? Wouldn't you go through a supplier?"
Yeah,
retail arbitrage is probably the lowest risk way to get into this. Mm-hmm. You are touching the products, and typically you're making the highest margin. The farther into the deep end you go to wholesale, you're making less and less profit on each product. So when you start buying stuff online, when you start buying pallets, is it going to be expired? You know, like you don't know until it gets.
You're spending $1,500 on one product and hoping nobody takes it out, where I can just order 10, 12, 20 at a time.
Right. And that turnaround of I buy it at Walmart today and can ship it out tomorrow, which that's not realistic, but a lot of people can do that. Buy it today, ship it out tomorrow. Where if you're buying OA or wholesale, you have to place the order, wait for it to come, prep it again, get it shipped out. And then by the time you get it shipped in, sometimes what happens to Morgan it happens a lot where it's tanked out and you just have to wait it out or lose money.
Yeah. Because they take their sweet old time, you know, like Amazon's known for that, but Walmart around Christmas time, like it was a longer check-in time. Like if you were having them fulfill the items for you. So, and there's nothing you can really do. I mean, Walmart's better at like, what was it? Like 10 days and you can open a case and ask them to like, what's going on with my order, where Amazon, like, we'll get to it when we get to it. So that's just time that you're losing that somebody else is coming in and selling. So,
right.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah. And I enjoy too with RA is that you get the opportunity of like finding lots of things by just going in the store. You know, like when I'm online, I have ADHD, if you didn't know that already. And so I get like, I'm opening 400 browser windows and I'm like, wait, what was I looking at? Or if I'm in a store, I'm like, okay, we're going to go into the coffee section and I'm going to look at everything that's here, take my pictures. Like some people like to research in stores. I do sometimes, or I like to take pictures and take them back. I think Emily, you like to do research at home. Mm-hmm. So like it gives me a chance to find stuff that I wouldn't normally. I mean, that's how I feel like I've found a lot of my replenishables and like the things that I sell all the time is going in the store and going, look at this random thing on the top shelf. Like, does anybody buy this? Look at this random thing on the bottom shelf. Anybody buy this? Oh, look.
Yeah. And I think too, it's almost like better to go into the store, especially with like newer items, because like even though on the website it might say 3 ounces, 5 ounces, like you don't know what that packaging is. You don't know, you don't really know until you actually see it. And a lot of times, like an item that you see in the store, you pick it up, you touch it, and you're like, okay, if this is going to be something that can get damaged in shipping, I need to box this and then send it in to WFS. Whereas if I'm ordering it, I may not know that. I may not take that extra box cost into account until I see it. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, now that's, 50 cents into my bottom line times however many you order. So especially with like newer products, I really prefer to start RA and then, again, replenish it OA for that reason. But yeah, Jen, to your point, a lot of stuff is regional too. Like even in your Walmarts, there's a lot of stuff that is regional to you that is not available to everybody. So that one thing where you're like, hey, does anybody buy this? They might not buy it by you, or they might buy it by you, but not somewhere else, or they might not buy it by you and they buy it somewhere else. So there's just different items that you really have to honestly do your due diligence, do your research. And that goes for RA and OA, but
yeah. And I think that's why so many people hear what we're saying and they go into a store with their phone and are like scanning things just random. I don't even think that's what Jen is talking about. When we go to the store, we are usually going with intention, and our previous year's experience definitely helps push us in directions. Yeah. And that's the easiest way to lose a lot of time and money is to make no plan, do no research, and just cross your fingers and hope. It's a waste of time. And that's why I like to take pictures and come home, because I want to know for sure. I want to see the charts. I want to see the listings. And it's difficult if you're just starting to know how to do that on your phone and you don't have previous year's experience. So don't do that. Be intentional with your time and your money here.
Yeah. I definitely did that in the beginning though, because it's like you didn't know. Like we all sat there and we're like opening, Amazon seller app or Walmart, and just scanning, going, is this even exist there? What do people even sell this for? And so don't feel bad if you've done that, because we've all done it at some point, but kind of learn from our lessons. We've all been in the game for, like 3+, Emily, the longest 7, Morgan and I think it's been over 3 years. So, these are the things that
first year I did the same thing. I was scanning everything, but yes, it's because part of it is because, you don't know what you can sell. Right. But then the other part of it was, I was thinking about this other day. I wasted so much time my first year because you're going and you're scanning everything. Yeah. And then you're like, ooh, this is profitable. So you're doing like onesie twosies and making listings for every little thing, like breaking your neck. Like my first year, I just felt like I'm still overwhelmed. Don't get me wrong. But like, I feel like I was just like drowning. Like, what am I doing? And then I'm like, oh, my sales are amazing. But then like end of the year comes and I'm looking at my profit and I'm like, that's it? Like,
that's all, I did all that for that? Yeah.
Man, I think I could have made more, doing something else.
Like a sign on a corner. Like,
man, like, so yeah, my next 2 years after that, the second year I was still a little bit lost in the sauce. I really I wasn't doing that as much, but I was still a little bit lost. But my very last year, my third year, the end of my second year coming into my third year, that's when it clicked. And it's like, okay, be intentional, research, do these things. So yes, I'm still overwhelmed. Yes, I still have a lot of work, but I'm doing less work and making more money.
Yeah.
So it's
are you saying once you met me and got into the
obviously. Duh.
Emily solves all problems, in case you didn't know that.
Literally.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, no, see, honestly, what the wake-up call for me was when Amazon was like, oh, we're doing placement fees and low inventory fees.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that even mean? And when they first rolled that out, they said it was coming out, I think it was end of January of 2020. What year is this? So 2024, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So December, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I'm not selling items that have more than that, where I have more than 20. Or if I am, they sell out so quick. Like, when do those fees kick in? Like, there was just so much that they weren't explaining.
Right.
And usually when they roll out new policies, you have like these people who have been selling for a long time on YouTube who will be like, oh, and like break it down for you.
Yeah.
That did not happen. And I was like, okay, so if I don't understand this, nobody else understands this, how much money am I making? So I was like, you know what, screw this. I pulled all my inventory out of FBA and I went strictly FBM. I sold like a couple things on Walmart at that point, but I was like, all right, I guess we're taking off with Walmart. And I really haven't looked back since. So, but yeah, that was like my wake up call. And then, so from like January to April, I was kind of just like, it was kind of like starting over, literally like start from scratch, figure out my business. And then I found Emily, and then we all were kind of like in the same.
The rest is history.
Trying to figure it out, and we figured it out. And
the trifecta.
Literally. And then we even tried WFS together.
Yep.
We took the plunge together, and that was great. And so yeah, the rest was history, and business has been great ever since.
But you said something I think that's important. You usually don't find success here quickly. You know, it takes time. And I think everybody's first year, you're like excited because you're seeing profit. And then when you see the margin, you're like, that's usually everybody's sentiment. At that point, a lot of people jump because they are out and they think, I can do less work at my day job. The thing is, though, how you start year one, how you start month 5 is not how you are year 2. You really lock in, find a process, do better, stop with the bad buys. Bad buys are always going to be there. But if you can't be realistic about failing and messing up, this is not the job for you. This is not the life for you, because every day of my life, I get an email, you know, that's like, oh, you didn't do this right. You're not selling this anymore. This is a new fee we're going to give sellers every day.
Yes.
So you will fail. You will fail spectacularally. You know, you could write a book about it at the end of all the fails. It's just part of the business.
We can do an episode about that. Want to talk about all our failures?
It's part of the business. And if you cannot financially handle that, emotionally, spiritually handle that, this is not the place for you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, and most businesses, people have to remember, this is a business. Okay. And most businesses do not turn a profit until year 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to any of the big major companies, they're like, oh yeah, it wasn't until year 5 that we actually were like turning a profit. So if you think about it that way, that you are kind of investing in your future and creating a business, you know, especially for us, it's like a family business, then you have a different outlook on things instead of like that instant money and like, quick flips or whatever. You want to just do quick flips, do Facebook Marketplace, like do eBay stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's a different thing. But for this, it's just not. And I feel like the nice thing too with RA is because you can pivot so quickly.
Yeah.
It helps because the only thing that you can expect in this is that things are going to change from day to day, to week, to month to month. You know, how it started 3 years ago is not how it is today. You know, like there's so many new things, so many new fees. And so we're not in it so much that we're like, oh, great, we have a whole warehouse of product now that is restricted. Like you mentioned that, Morgan, like a lot of health and beauty and things and brands are getting restricted more and more on Amazon. You cannot sell them at all categories. What do you do if you had like $5,000 of that product sitting there? Then what, you know?
Which, as Emily always says, make a plan for your SKUs.
Yeah.
Because then if that does happen, you're ready. You have a pivot.
You know what to do.
Instead of being like, oh shoot, now I need to figure something out.
Yeah. It's funny, you know, I have worked with a lot of sellers, and it's funny because in some cases, like your personal life, the amount of people who don't plan to succeed, like they don't plan on finding success in their endeavor. So they don't create a business. They don't like start an LLC. They don't think ahead. They don't think like, what structure should I start now to be successful? In Amazon, people do not plan to fail.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't think you were gonna fail at all, did you? And then
that person was just scanning away on their phone in TJ Maxx, and they said they made 10 million last year. Why am I not making 10 million?
Right. And that just is wild to me. It's like, wow, you really thought. I mean, this is a legal business. This is not illegal. This isn't shady. No. We're not stealing. The stores typically don't care because we're buying stuff with a receipt. We're not walking out trying to steal or hide product. We need a receipt for proof for every product. So you have to treat it like a business, like Jen said, and create the structure you need to succeed.
Well, I love that you said that because when people all the time just come for us on social media about like, oh, that should be illegal, da-da-da. Well, guess what? We're doing exactly what Walmart does, exactly what Target does, exactly what your local grocery store. They buy something at one price and sell it at another. So we're just offering another service. So change my name to Walmart-Jen. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, Walmart 2. Does that make you feel better?
I mean, this could be a whole tangent, but it does surprise me. Like, wait, is in this case, you're siding with Walmart? You think what they're doing is so ethical?
It's better.
I know.
It's better. And you're like, what? Wait a minute.
What's funny, when I met my husband, like, he always jokes about this. He's like, when I met you, every time I would call you, I'd be like, oh, what are you doing? And you'd be like, at Walmart. I wasn't even a reseller when I met him. I was always at Walmart because I love their clearance deals. Or like, I don't know. That's like what me and my friends did for fun. Like, we would go to Walmart and just find useless stuff that like we thought was useful, but it really wasn't. And then he's like, now look, we're however many years later, we're now married and you're still at Walmart every day.
Yeah. Still at Walmart.
Like, first of all, sir.
Well, it helps those of us with shopping addictions. Like, it's a rush when you find, especially like something like really marked down on clearance. Like, I start shaking and then I start trying to like, shove things in my cart and people start running over. And so I'm barricading myself so I can, and people
this
that don't even need
this is not making resellers look better. You're like, I'm barricading the.
I mean, well, that could be another call, like, or another episode. Just the crazy things people that have said and done to me at stores. Like,
if I bring my kids with me, I'm like, go down there. There's more down there, and they're like running and like grabbing all this stuff.
Maybe that's a con of RA is that then we have to deal with people in the stores. Where OA you can just sit at home and like. Nobody's, unless they cancel
you have managers who are like, yes, here, we have more. Get it off the shelves. We need space. And I'm like, say less.
Yeah. Right. Let me mark it down more for you. I've had that before. Like, oh, you're going to take all of it? Oh, here, let me just mark it down more. Okay, I didn't even ask, but I'm not going to say no.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was going to say the only people bothered by what we do is random people online who don't know it at all. It's like literally the stores. We live in a world of excess, a nation of excess. Like, for sure. I don't think the stores are hurting here.
Yeah. No, they're not. We, so the day after Christmas, how Walmart does like their markdowns.
Yeah.
So, there's like regular, as you were saying, Emily, like regular people have now caught on to like some of these sales. So like, there's a whole bunch of people outside the Walmart, like waiting to get in. So I go in and they have like, their gift sets, everything like marked down. And so I'm like, getting the stuff. But then I remembered there's like a whole bunch of seasonal stuff like in certain aisles that weren't like, it wouldn't be obvious that it was Christmas stuff. Mm-hmm. It was, but it wasn't obvious. So I'm like, I wonder if they like put a sign up for those. So I start walking around the store and just like there was no signs and I'm just like pulling the stuff into the carts, and they were like hidden aisles, so like people didn't really like know what I was doing. I would just pop out with like more stuff in my cart. And it was funny, the manager of like the beauty and health and personal care, she's like, well, I'm just gonna follow you because you have all the sales, so I'll just put the signs up on whatever else you don't take. She's like literally following me around, and she's like, okay, are you leaving that one? All right, here's a sign and here's a sign.
That's hilarious.
She's like, how did you know all these? I was like, I'm using Scan and Go. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, that's amazing. She's like, you just helped make my job easier. Now I don't have to sit here and scan everything.
Aww.
Do you want to talk about Scan and Go real quick?
Oh, how amazing it is.
Morgan and
I swear we need to be sponsored by Walmart for their Scan and Go. If you're a reseller and you don't have Scan and Go, what are you doing with your life? Correct. Emily literally hates our little commercial about Scan and Go because we talk about it all the
so
time.
much. We push everybody to get a Scan and Go membership, and she's like,
it saves so much time because literally from your phone you can scan everything. And whatever price comes up on Scan and Go is going to be the final price. So a lot of the time when you scan to do a price check on your phone without Scan and Go, sometimes it won't give you the right price. Sometimes if they hadn't pushed through the clearance, the new prices yet, it won't come up. Whereas on Scan and Go, it will. So I love it. And then you can literally just transfer to the register. You can do it with an employee, but you can also do it at self-checkout. And then at that point, all you're doing is doing your tax exempt and boom, you're done.
Out the door.
Then not only that, but we're not done. You get free Paramount Plus. You get 10 cents off of gas at Murphy gas stations and Exxon Mobil. You get free delivery, no shipping minimums. Yeah. What else? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different perks to it.
The getting through, like I'm already checking the prices, and if I can just put that on my app, I mean, there is a max of like 99 that you can buy because I've done that before.
Per item.
Yeah. But then I just check it. I don't have to stand there. I don't have to wait in those long lines, because they sometimes only have a couple cashiers depending on the day and when I'm going. And I don't have to stand there and tell them how many I have. And I can just in and out, and then that's it. So it saves me so much time. I can hit 8 stores a day with Scan and Go now. Before it was like 5 to 6. So
yeah, see, it literally saves you like 20-30 minutes, I would say.
We're gonna make you, Emily. We're gonna make
you. I know. You would think they're getting some sort of kickback from making you guys.
We're not even. This is
shout out Walmart. Feel free.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are pressuring me so hard to get it. I don't want to get it. I'm like, this is obviously a scam.
It's like I just don't even have words. It's amazing. I actually had Scan and Go before I was a reseller. I just never used it for that reason. I used it for the free delivery because I would get groceries delivered to my house every other week. Yeah. But then when I became a reseller, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then like if there's price discrepancies or anything, they're really quick to fix it. Like I've just had nothing but good experiences with Scan and Go. So shout out Walmart. You did your big one with that one.
Yep.
Okay, and this is probably going to be something that in a year I have a sign over here that says Morgan was right, and it has a couple check marks. When she told me things over and over, and I'm like, no, and then I actually do it. I'm like, okay, so this will probably be something on the check. But this brings up a good topic. There are tons of resources out there to help you. Yeah, and you don't have to go. This could be a whole nother conversation. You shouldn't be paying somebody like thousands of dollars for a course, for advice, especially around retail and online arbitrage. I can kind of see more in wholesale and private label because it is a very like gated community.
Yeah.
And the information and sources are protected. But in this space, there's so much information online that, apply yourself. There's great resources, like Scan and Go, easy ones you can figure out how to use and just start like figuring out what is a category for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I know I did that. I remember because I had seen some guys on Instagram and they were scanning. They're like, oh, you need to work on getting ungated in Nike and And I'm like, oh, I guess I need to get this. But I'm like, do I need to pay $500 per ungate? Like, I feel like I can figure this out.
Right.
And I did. And then I found your community, Emily, like my first month.
The answer to everything.
Okay, well, this is all like
You're welcome. I know community is a game changer because we figure things out. This community is like agile and we figure it out. We figure out the hurdles, and it's great to meet a community that is open to share. Yes. Right before this, I was like, Jen, I need your response on Walmart when sellers are selling a product and the buyer says it was delivered, but they didn't get it. And how do you respond? Like she has a great response for that. So it's great to be in a trusted space that you can reach out and, ask questions.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that's good. And I think we also are really open to, if we don't know it, we're going to find out. We're not going to just make up an answer and try to sound like we know it all. Like, we want to actually ask the questions, open the cases, have the sit downs with Walmart and ask them like, hey, why,
I actually,
why?
that is one thing that I told Emily, like when I first joined the group, the reason why I stayed in the group was because there was like a couple videos that she made where she said something, I don't remember what it was. And she came back and she's like, you know what, guys, I was wrong. This is what I found out since then. And like, so many people don't do that.
No.
Like, so many people will just like run with whatever they said was wrong and just, that's what it is. And yeah. And she was like literally on a recorded call. Like, she's like, no, I was wrong. They said I got this answer, whatever the case was. And I was like, that's what I want, is like the real raw truth. Not like the influencer being like, oh, everything's great, when like it is, but there's also like hard parts to this. And that was one thing that like Emily, like you and like everybody in the community is real about. Like, this is hard. It's not just like,
well, and they're always changing it too. So I'm like, maybe that information was valid 2 years ago, but you actually haven't sold in the last 2 years because you have been posting all these like videos online and you're doing influencer stuff and what have you, and you're making reviews and you're not actually selling anymore. So you don't know that this stuff changed, So I'm like, sometimes I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm like, also stop saying it if you don't really know. Like, it's okay to not know.
It changes all the time. In November, I recorded a Walmart to Walmart course, TBA. And in February, in the course, I say Walmart won't send IPs. Brands will come for you. In February, we're starting to see brands. And I was like, I have to go back and edit that course now already.
Here they are.
Oh, I love in the summer when I was like recording all these how-to videos, and then like after the Seller Summit, Walmart changed the user interface like completely to the new view, and I was like, and it's so different that I had to re-record. I'm like, come on.
Just kidding.
The worst. I think something that's going to help you out is to be technically savvy. If you do not how to like log into these platforms and run extensions, and you don't have to know how to do Excel. Okay. And I'll just say that for my own benefit.
She knows more than I love.
I know. So you don't have to be fully in the deep end of like connecting APIs, but you have to know how to run these softwares. It's going to be very difficult, and almost impossible. I'm just going to say that.
I've seen log into your account, just walk away.
I've seen people really struggle if they just don't have a good grasp on technology. That's one thing you really do need to have to be able to run this successfully.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry for the bad news.
Sorry to tell you that something that functions online, you need to know how to use it.
Don't ask me. I don't want to have to teach you. There's not a dollar amount that you could give me that makes me want to teach you the internet.
Go take a class at the community college or something.
There you go.
Right?
Hey, some community colleges do teach.
That's what I'm saying. I think they have really nice courses. Like, I think you should just start there. Learn some good stuff. So what do you guys prefer, RA or OA? And then we'll kind of wrap up this episode.
Definitely RA.
Okay.
1000% RA.
Yeah.
And you know what? I jumped into clearance both feet, 10 toes down. Clearance. Love it. And I have my daughter loves it too. And it's a rush for real. So I'll say retail arbitrage is my favorite.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you like, Jen?
No, I do. I like RA. You know what? It was last year, especially Walmart had really good buy online discounts. Remember that? Like, it was really nice. And then you could just pick it up, and then do order pickup. So, there was still the max of 12, but I could do like 10 order pickups at one store. They always thought I was like crazy, but they all know me now. But things were cheaper. And so that was when I really was like, hey, I'm starting to do kind of some OA and then using some of the extensions like the Rakuten, or now there's like so many of them out there that if you aren't using any of those, look into them, because it's just nice little like extra check you get back on stuff you're already buying. And then that's kind of gone away this year. So, I mean, I like to be in stores, or if it's something that I know I'm already selling well, then I place orders for like pickup, and just kind of stay on top of it. But I still, half the time I pick that up and then I go run in and then get the rest of it, but just to know that it's there.
Yeah.
Like, what else you got? You got more, so,
Right.
but just for my schedule, that seems to work best. So yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on today's episode. Also, we appreciate all the love you guys have been giving us and support and listening to our last couple episodes. So we've got more coming your way. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.